Hey guys, it's Vince from Spradley Kia in Pueblo, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the 2022 Kia Sportage LX in all-wheel drive. It is one of my favorite vehicles to sell. Honestly, I sell more Kia Sportages than anything. They're priced just right. They lease very well. They're all-wheel drive. They got all the creature comforts for a very low price that the average person would enjoy. So stay tuned and watch the video, and I will show you guys just some everyday features that this vehicle has to offer. Also, please like and subscribe to my channel. I know it's a little redundant to say, but the subscriptions definitely do help. I'm trying to get to 275 by the end of July, and definitely a quick subscribe will definitely help me get there. So, getting started right away. This is the 2022 Kia Sportage in all-wheel drive LX. So our base model. Coming along to the front here, you have the tiger nose grille, and the daytime running lights are shining bright this morning. I really do. I really am a huge fan of Kia's daytime running lights. Pretty much no matter which vehicle that that you're in. The Carnival has great daytime running lights. Stinger, um, Telluride, Sorrento, and Sportage has always been one of my favorites for the daytime running lights. So right up front, you do have the tiger nose grille right there with the chrome, with the little chrome accents there that separate it. One thing to notice here in the 2022 model is that it still has Kia's old badging. Now the redesign for the Sportage is going to come in 2023, and I think it's going to come a lot sooner than most people expect. We're already here seeing pictures of it and all kinds of stuff of that nature. So the 2023 model might be out a little quicker than most people expect. Here's kind of the side profile. I am a huge fan of the tires of the. I'm sorry, not the tires. Well, everyone loves tires, but I'm a huge fan of the wheels there. I love that spoke design with the little angles, and I've liked what they've done there. They've done that in a couple of other Kia vehicles, and I'm a really big fan of the wheels on that. Coming along to the back, if you're familiar with Sportage, this should look fairly similar because they didn't really redesign anything in 2022. It looks very, very much the same as a 2021 model, and the steel gray color is one of my favorites. I really like what Kia's been doing with their grays, um, gravity gray, steel gray, the wolf gray. I really do like their grays. I think the steel gray is really sharp, and I'm a huge fan personally of the gravity gray in some of Kia's vehicles, like the Sorrento and the Telluride. But steel gray definitely does do its job. Stands tall. So you have your backup camera down there, but you also have your little button here to open up the hatch. Huge room in the back. You have child anchor locks behind the seats and all three seats. So if you have little ones, you can lock in the car seats with that. This model does come with the floor mats, and then this one from the factory came with this rubber mat back here that's really useful. My daughter plays softball, and she gets dust everywhere, so that rubber mat actually really does help out me. I have one in my vehicle. Underneath, you have the floor that you could pop open, and then you have the tire underneath. Pretty cool. Now, one thing people don't realize you can do, let me see if I can take this mat out with just one hand, is the floor. So with the floor, pardon my shadow, you can take the floor and you can remove it. And you can lower it down on these little grooves down there, if you see them. You can lower them down and push them up. And now you have lowered your rear cargo floor. So, I don't know what that is, 2 inches, 3 inches? You can you can do that. So it's kind of cool. So if you have things with wheels, coolers, strollers, golf clubs, then it'll help with, It'll help them not roll around as much back there. And honestly, you could do it with one hand. I'm doing this with one hand. You just pop that open, pull this out, realign, push, pop. Super easy. And then now you're back to a flat floor. I think it's going to be harder for me to get this cargo mat in with one hand than it is for me to manipulate the floors. There we go. Always got to be clean. And the mats for the next customer. Got your little hand grip, and it closes. What I really do like about kind of the redesign lately with the SUVs is you have this lip up here, so it's kind of like a rain protection. And then you have your windshield wiper there, your back wiper. Push and pop gas cap. Let me do that again because I think I moved the camera a little too fast. So if the car is unlocked, you can press it and it will open. If the car is locked, then that feature does not work. The gas cap will not open, but push and pop. Kind of working backwards here, coming backwards to forwards. Here is the rear passengers where you can, seat 3 passengers. You do have the little handle on the side down there, and that handle will manipulate the, let me push this down. Here's the little guy that moves the headrest down. Do that with one hand. So once the headrest is down properly, that back seat's pushed all the way back. So if that back seat wasn't pushed all the way back, this would fall. Oh, look at that. Falls down flat even with the back seat pushed all the way back. That's kind of cool. I was expecting it to bump the back of the rest. But nope, we call that near flat. So as you can see in the cargo space, it comes all the way down near flat. So if you're carrying cargo, if you got going to Home Depot, going to Lowe's, going to get groceries, a lot of groceries, you can push that down. Now what's really cool is that same handle right down there, if you pull it, let's see if I can do it again with one hand. You can get what I like to call a slight recline. Do you see how that seat now is reclined slightly? So if I were to hop in here, especially if I'm a taller person, this is pretty comfortable, I can recline the seat back, like if I'm going to kind of rest my eyes a bit, but you can do what I call a slight recline. And then I know you can't see this obviously, but I just push this up to a normal seating position and I'm good. You have rear vents in the LX model, so you can have back air for your back passengers, and then you have a 12-volt adapter for power. You have your mat pockets both on driver's seat and passenger seat, which is really cool, and then you have plenty of legroom. So I am 5'9.5", 5'10", and I have pretty good legroom here, and I'm sitting pretty comfortable in the back. On the roof, you do have your light. Turn light on, turn light off, not too shabby. And then you have your handrails. Put your handrails here, and then you have your little hook. So if you're going to be carrying garments or what have you, you need a hook. You have a little hook right there that you can retract and still have the handrail. Not too shabby. We're going to talk about the front cabin here in just a second, but there is a look from the back seat of the cluster, then the steering wheel. Cup holders. So there's more cup holders in this car than it seats people. So you have cup holders in the wheel well, in the door well right there. You also have cup holders in the back seat, kind of folds down. You have cup holders right there. From this angle, you can kind of see that slight recline that I was talking about, because now the seat I was sitting in is in a normal position, and then the other seat on the left-hand side is actually reclined. So you can kind of see what I mean there by a slight recline. So again, 4 cup holders in the back. You come up to the front, you have another 2 cup holders right there in the center console. And then you have cup holders in the door wells for driver and passenger. So what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 cup holders in a car that seats 5 people. So kind of taking a look at the door and the seat there. You have your standard door locks, window locks, and mirror control right there. Now, one thing I want to point out on the seats is the pump. So you do have a pump there where you can pump yourself up and pump yourself down. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually move the seat up and down with that pump. You'd be surprised how often I get that as a question. And then you have your bar underneath where you can slide forward and backward. So again, this is the LX model. So this is the base model. Right away, I want to come to the left panel here. You do not have blind spot detectors in this car, but you do have lane keep assist, which is part of Kia's standard DriveWise now in 2022. So it will beep at you if you're veering into a lane, which is kind of cool. As long as you are driving safely, you should not have any problems with keeping in your lane, but it will assist you if you need it. Coming up to the cluster here, you kind of have your standard small cluster, which I don't mind. It's something that some people knock, but I really don't mind it at all. But here on this screen, you have your miles till empty on the front, your average miles per gallon there in the middle, and then the temperature, and then how many miles this car has been driven. It's only been driven 14 miles. We just got this guy. The light stick is actually something I always like to point out because you can set your lights to auto. And when your lights are set to auto, your lights will turn off and on as the sun goes up and down, which is something I really like. You have, man, that sun, I should have done this in a different angle. You have the controls for your phone right there. You can answer a call, decline a call. You have your voice assistant there. If you're using Apple for Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto, you can control that with that button, or the regular old Kia assistant right there is also something you can do. Mode's going to change your mode for your audio. So if you press that, you're going to change between AM. Oops, that's AM. That's FM, even though there's not something on it. And then you also have Sirius if the vehicle has Sirius. Now, one way to tell if your vehicle has Sirius, and this is on the radio screen, is band. You press band, it'll tell you what you have. So this one is an FM, AM only, so no Sirius radio installed. I have a feeling that feature is going to be less and less available. It seems like car manufacturers are putting Sirius in less and less vehicles because of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right there, which this car does come with. You can get a Sirius app, and so the manufacturer or the Sirius, the company, doesn't have to install the tuners in the cars in order to get you kind of the same playability as if you just downloaded their app. So I have a feeling we're going to see less and less built-in Sirius radio in the future. Um, Coming back to the steering wheel real quick, this button here does change that center cluster right there, in which you can manipulate lane keep assist, and here's all your settings you can do. You can customize this car pretty much to your heart's content. It's very easily to customize, and then press that button again, and you just go from left to right, and then the toggle switch right here will send you up and down. Cruise control, everyone has their preference of cruise control. I personally don't really like cruise control. I like to be in control of my own car, but definitely a gas saver. And if you're on those long trips, cruise control is very easy. All you do is press, and then you'll see the little icon up there, and then you can set your miles per hour. You press it again, it goes away, but pretty easy. And then you just use this guy right here to set your miles per hour. So I was kind of showing you some features here on the main infotainment screen. The little house in the corner will always take you home, this is kind of the standard screen here. You have your radio, and if you had Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it would show there. And then you have your various folders down here. All menus is probably pretty much where most people are going to go most of the time. When you have your phone connected, you can just click phone, it'll take you there. Again, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, radio, setup, voice memos, and inside setup, you have some other options. That's where your Bluetooth setup is. You can set the time and date. It is actually 9 o'clock, so that time is right. And then, the home screen, you can set if you want how your home screen widgets to appear in which order. It's actually pretty, like I said, pretty customizable. Little house always takes you home, but little arrow always takes you back. So I'll take you back here. So pretty simple. Really good amenities for the price. Like I was saying, they lease very well. Coming down here, you have your, if you don't like the touchscreen, you have your physical buttons right there going from left to right. And then you have your volume knob and your tuner knob right there for the radio. You have your climate. This guy does not have dual climate, so you are on a single climate system with your knob, so you can set lower speed, temperature, and then your directionals down there, um, defrost, all that kind of stuff. Coming down to the little cubby, you have your USB port and two 12-volt ports for your, phone chargers and accessories, that kind of thing. You have your column, which is kind of cool. Just kind of your standard column, nothing too wowing, but it's actually, nothing more than most people need. It doesn't have to be all fancy with the gear shifters and all the crazy stuff that comes out now. You have your rear wheel lock differential, your downward hill assist, and your drive modes. Drive modes are kind of interesting, so I'm going to go back to the screen here. If I press drive mode, you can switch between eco, sport, and normal. I like eco the best because you get the best fuel economy in eco. And then, like, let's say you can just throw yourself into a sport mode. Excuse me. You could just throw yourself into a sport mode when you're driving. So I'm just going to put this guy in drive. So now I'm in drive, and if I want to go into a sport mode, I can just get an angle here. I could just pop the steering, the column, the gear shift column to the left. So now I'm in sport mode. So here on the screen, if you see the little 1 in the bottom left-hand corner, I can go up a gear to second gear and back down a gear to first gear. And you can just do that while driving. You could be doing 60 down the highway and just be like, hey, I wanna play with sport mode a bit. And then you can just pop yourself to the left, and then you're in it. And then you can just pop yourself right back to the right, and now you're out of it. So super easy. It's kind of fun to play around with, especially if you're, in these winding Colorado mountain paths. It's a beautiful Colorado day today. And coming up to the top, you have your sunglass holder, which surprisingly in the newer Kias, the 2022s, less and less sunglass holders. The K5 doesn't have one. The Kia Carnival doesn't have one. Um, I know the K5 is 2021, but it's sunglass holders. I don't know why they're not putting them in there anymore. It's weird. People still have sunglasses, so they still have this little, like I call it the little coin area, or your little area to put random stuff. That's, I think, where they want you to put sunglasses now. I don't know. That's something. You have your cubby space right here. So you got your armrest, and then you have your cubby space, pretty deep. You can fit a lot of stuff in there. Like it a lot. And lastly, just another feature, throw myself in the park. Another feature is the sliding seatbelt adjusters. So you can set your seatbelts to different heights as well. These Kia Sportages do rate really high on the safety meter. Like I said, I sell more Sportages than anything. They're safe, they're reliable, they're great vehicles. They lease very well. This one's about 27 grand, 27.5, and it's a standard package. I really can't say anything bad about it. It does have a standard key, so just your standard key with a little switchblade feature that I like to say. Just press the button, it pops up. You have your lock, unlock, trunk release. It's not an automatic lift gate, but it'll release the trunk, and then the panic alarm. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back on the lot. We do not have a lot of vehicles on the lot. It's weird. It's crazy. That's why I'm doing a video on an LX Sportage, because I don't really have anything else that's more exciting that I haven't done a video on. Like, this is our new lot right here. I have one, two, I have, hell, I don't have two. I have one. I have one Nero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Sportage I'm in, 9 Sportages. Plus there's one in the showroom, so it's 10. I have 10 Sportages, 2 Souls, and a Rio. Like, I don't have any of the big stuff at all. And it's just that national chip shortage and inventory shortage. And geez, I won't say it's a rough time to be a salesman, because it's not. I've had a really good month last month and the month before. This lady's trying to get into our service area. Not bad. But it's weird. Like, we're selling vehicles as they're coming off the truck, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's something that's unheard of. And everything is MSRP, rebates. Surprisingly, rebates are going up. I mean, if you're in the market for a Stinger in the month of June right now, you got $1,000 more in rebate cash. Sportages have rebates on them, but a lot of things don't. Carnival doesn't have any rebates. Telluride, Sorrento doesn't really have any rebates. And it's all because rebates are designed to move vehicles. Well, when you don't need them to move vehicles, why lose money is, I guess, the way the manufacturer looks at it. But again, thanks for watching my video on the LX Sportage in the gray with the black interior. Like and subscribe. Again, it really helps me a lot. And I'm trying to hit that goal of 275 by the end of July. Sorry about the noise. I am right next to a major freeway. But again, thank you for watching, and I will see you down at the dealership.